and gentlemen, from Los Angeles, USA, James Toney. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the camouflage trunks and weighed in at 17 stone or 1 pound 10 ounces. 43 fight record, 24 wins, 11 inside the scheduled distance, 15 defeats and 4 draws. From Orlando, Florida, it's the sensation, Jason Gavern. Time to give the bell from Rice-Lip, Mr. Peter McCann. Our referee in charge of the action is Mr. Richie Davis. This is 3-minute round semi-final number 1.
Hey fellas, you've both had your instructions in the dressing room. You know what I expect. Behave yourselves, do as you're told, and above all, defend yourselves at all times. God bless you both.
Well, this Prizefighter tournament is certainly all about experience. This is the youngster of the 4 survivors at 36 years old, Jason Gavern, going up against the grand old man, 45-year-old James Toney. The combined age of our 4 semi-finalists, 156. Average age, 39. So which of these 2 old-timers is going on to make it a long night? Will it be James Toney, the 3-weight world champion, or will it be Jason Gavern, who kept busy and stayed busy enough to get rid of Larry Olivamiwo in the first round? We're all impressed with the way James Toney just paced himself and just upped the game when he needed to get that stoppage. Oozing class. But Gavern's been in good company. Won't be massively overawed by the name of James Toney. You got the sense that in the first round, Matt Legg from Milton Keynes, certainly in the first round, did think, oh my goodness me, this is James Toney. I don't think Gavern's going to make that mistake.
Yeah, he's just trying to keep Toney at bay with a jab. Nice little right hand coming from Gavern. So Toney not finding the range. A couple of clumsy attacks. That was better.
Getting through again. Yeah, Toney just upping the game there. Took it steady for the first minute or so. Now starting to find his range, but then Gavern just pushing him back. Toney just pouring at his left eye for a moment there.
See, Toney's just trying to control the range, just staying slightly out of range. I think the feet got caught up there a little bit. Just not the smoothness that Toney had at one time. A little bit clumsy at times, but yeah, good little burst there.
Well, that's how he fights now, isn't it, in bursts? But then Gavern with a decent little burst of his own.
That was a strange burst from Gavern. It's as though he was aiming for the arms. You know, that was better.
Missed with the big right hand. Toney just slipped inside it, saw it coming. Gavern just backing off there. With one of those earlier exchanges, just shook him up a little bit. He's thinking about it, isn't he? He's thinking about the power that Toney's got.
Yeah, Toney certainly landed the classier punches, but there's not a great deal of work rate from him. But quality, yep, there's another one.
Yeah, Gavern just able to sway away from that. If he hadn't, I think this one might be over right now.
Gavern looks the one that's on the defensive more often, although that was a nice little burst from him. Little short punches.
This is how he seems to box. We saw it against Big Larry. And then the big the big crowd pleasing stuff. Not sure who he's trying to convince.
Well, there wasn't a lot to split them in the opener, but I thought that the classier work came from Toney. A lot of Gavern's work I thought was landing on arms. There you see he's actually leading there towards the arms. He needs to get his punches on a higher plane. But good accurate shots coming back from Toney, so not a lot to split them in the opening round, but I preferred what Toney was doing. But you can make a case for both. There's the technique And I think the punches that you do remember in the opening session came from James Toney.
But the big shout that you remember at the end of the first round came from the other fella. And he's been mimicked by the crowd ever since. And it's going on now. Well, will a big shout get Jason Gavern, excuse me, into the Prizefighter final? Will James Toney have the last word in this one? Oh, got rocked there.
Yeah, Gavern was clinging on with grim death there, but then just to let go a left hook that knocked Toney onto his heels. Toney trying to raise the pace.
And now Gavern is mugging to the photographers at ringside as well. He's certainly bringing the entertainment, the Florida man.
Just a little bit tentative with the jab there at Gavern, which is dangerous against such a good counter puncher. If you're going to throw the punches, throw them as though you meant it.
Really nice double jab there from Toney. One to the body, then one to the head. The head shot really stung Gavern.
Yeah, Gavern kind of pawing a little bit with the punches.
But he does stay busy, Jim. He keeps engaging, getting involved, throwing punches in little bursts, never allowing Toney to get on top. And they're both landing and trading here. With Toney backed up on the ropes.
Yeah, well, Gavern's making Toney work for everything that he gets. I feel some of the Gavern's punches a hint of the inside of the glove at times.
Wild and crude and from Toney. And, shoved into a neutral corner for his pains.
We'll move towards the last minute, so whoever can put the pedal down, it's been nip and tuck so far. Probably the better quality again coming from Toney, but not a lot to split.
He's staying a bit busier here, Toney, which is a big mistake from Gavern. That was a big right hand that Roxy followed up with another one, but Gavern seems to just be able to walk through, and more mugging to the crowd. But he did get stung a couple of times. But Toney's taken a lot out of himself with that assault. And with 30 seconds to go, he's backed himself up into his own corner. And then Gavern runs out of gas. Well, doesn't run out of lung power, does he? That was good. Oh, he's shaken Toney up again. Good combination from Gavern.
Yep, Toney's going right off the pace in the last 40-odd seconds. Well, I think this round you decide the quality as against the quantity.
Well, he's winning a few friends over here, I think, Jason Gavern. Irrespective of whether he's winning the fight. They're loving all that.
Well, that was a round where Toney really produced well in the early stages, but it's tended to fade. Gavern come back with some good bursts, kept him occupied, kept him pinned on the ropes. I just thought maybe turn things around in his favour in the last minute of that round, Gavern. But another round you can make a case for both men. So this one is going to be tough to separate to find a winner.
Well, Jim, all square. It's all down to a 3-minute sprint. And who would you fancy in a 3-minute sprint? The 36-year-old or the 45-year-old? This is a very, very interesting 3 minutes coming up. And more play acting from Jason Gavern, a telling off from Richie Davis. You could almost lip read Richie there, say, look, come on. Whoa! That is ruled as a slip.
Well, I think
both go for it.
Yeah, well, I think they both. Toney put his hands up to apologise, and Gavern decided to return the favour and throw the punch, but lost his own balance.
Well, that has got everybody fired up. It's certainly got Toney fired up. It's got Gavern fired up as well. More play acting from the Orlando man.
Well, I think the crowd have warmed to Gavern now.
Well, I know he comes from Orlando, but I didn't expect this level of entertainment from him.
No, I think they're both feeling the pace now a little bit, just who can suck in a bit more. Find some energy from somewhere.
Really wild from Gavin, did nothing there. But Toney's not doing anything back either. There's a couple of guys in the dressing room in the other semi-final at the moment looking at this thinking, I've got a shot if I can reach the final. Because I don't think either of these two fellas are bringing much in the tank. A good left hand from Gavin. And just boring in. Toney looking to try and work the body there. It's all messy again, and Richie Davis has to separate them. Two very tired looking guys in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really boxing now, it's just it's like a pub brawl at the moment. Skill, not much to do with it, just who can dig in and find some punches from somewhere. Nice little shots there from Toney, good defensive work from him.
Just over a minute left. There's still time for somebody to make a big statement here. I think Toney's really got to up his game because this one is close, and again Gavin catches him with the right hand, and again Toney's all over the place. The heads came together there, and Gavin came off the worst. Don't think he's cut, he's lucky, but he certainly felt it. Right on the top of the nose. But again, it's Toney getting tagged too often. Chopping punches coming back from the 3-weight world champion and not landing, not connecting.
Yeah, I think they're both kind of running on empty at the moment, but Gavin seems to have just found a little bit more energy in the tank.
Jim, I think James Toney's getting hustled out of this.
Yep, Gavin's the one producing. But the third round has really been scrappy and messy.
It really has. Toney just boring in last few seconds, still looking for the big finish, finishing on top, but again then just backing away. Well, this one is going to go to the cards. And these two fellas can't wait for that bell. There it is. Arms raised by both fighters. Lots of whooping and hollering in the crowd. And here he goes again. Well, he's going to be remembered for his night in London, whatever, Jason Gavern. And Jim, I have to say, when all the whooping and hollering has died down, I think this fella might have just booked himself a place in the final.
Yep, I just think if he forced the punches out, that was just the sharp to touch gloves obviously the beginning of every last round, and Toney had a little clip in the chin, and I think Gavin come back to do the same thing, ended up stumbling to the floor. I think he was just returning the favour there and made a bit of a hash of it. But yep, that was the Toney, and I think Toney offered his glove as an apology, and Gavin returned the favour. Well, what does they say? Defend yourself at all times. I think he's hustled his way through to the final, Gavin. But really, to be honest, it was 3 rounds, and you could see each of the rounds, whichever way you want, they were all close.
Absolutely, Jim. You've got Jason one round ahead, but you're always saying to me, Jim, we're in the entertainment business here. That wasn't necessarily great boxing, but it was certainly entertaining.
Yeah, and I just wonder if the reputation of Toney will sway the judges in his favour. It shouldn't with experienced judges, but that was a fight, really, that you could pick who you preferred. Well, let's find out who's going into our final. Will it be the whooping and hollering of Jason Gavern, or will it be the veteran experience of James Toney? The fans loved it. I don't think they want to see either of these fellas go home, but one of them is about to be shown the door.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after a highly entertaining semi-final number 1, we have the 3 judges' scores. Judge Marcus McDonald scores 29-29 and scores the contest a draw. Victor Lachlan 29-28 and Steve Gray 29-28 in favour of and through to the final. Woo! Jason Gavern!
Well, it's lights out for James Toney. but I think we'll all remember his experience in the York Hall Bethnal Green. And we're also going to remember Jason Gavern for that whooping and hollering. He's really engaged this crowd. He's booked himself a place in the final, and I think it's the right call, Jim.
Yep. As I say, there were 3 rounds you could see either way. I saw 2 of them to Gavern. I thought he just put a little bit more into it than Toney. Toney dropped off the pace after a good opening round.